We are live already. Let's go on.
All right. Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yes, yes.
All right. Okay. So today's class, we said is a top-down analysis, how to perform top-down analysis, and then get to your entries. You understand? So yeah, top-down analysis. First, you need the higher time frame for direction or directional bias. And you know that the major time frames we have for directional bias are mostly the weekly time frame and then the daily time frame. Those are your main focus time frames when it comes to the top down analysis. If you can get the direction of the weekly and the daily right, you understand it will help you a long way. You understand? So daily and the weekly are very important for when it comes to your top down analysis. They are like telling a story. When you tell a story, you don't just jump from the starting of the story and then you end at the ending. You don't just you start from the beginning and then you go step by step until you get to the ending of the storytelling, just like watching a movie. You can't just start watching the movie from from the end. You play it from the beginning and then you just go down to the end. You won't understand anything. You need to follow it step by step so you can understand what is actually happening in the movie and how the characters are behaving. So how the same thing applies to F and arrow zones. F and arrow zones are very important. F stands for frequency, and then the arrow stands for recency. And then when marking your levels, you start with the frequency. So zones are usually for take profit, but your recency zones are the zones that you look for immediate entry from. For example, if this market if this market should come down, if this market should start coming down here now, this is our frequency, our recent zone here. This place is our recent zone. Uh, this point here is our recent zone. This point here is our recent zone on the weekly time frame. And then the frequent zone, we can now mark, for example, now the frequent zone will be like somewhere here, this level, or this continuation candle. So this zone, and this zone. For example, let me just do this for better understanding, so that probably those that will be watching it again will actually have good understanding of it. This is a frequent zone. This is a frequent zone. Frequent zone. This also is a frequent zone. the immediate break of a zone is the recent zone. Above it, assuming this price as it was going up, now we have other zones above. That would be a frequent zone. But the immediate break like this breakout is the recent zone, while the ones below are the frequent zone. This here right now is a frequent zone. Here, this point is a frequent zone. 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 This is the only recent zone as per now. So that's how you start. You first of all mark the recent zone and then the frequent zone on the weekly time frame. So let me take this out. So this here is our recent zone on the weekly time frame. So you place this here as your weekly zone. So when price comes to here, this is where you'll be looking for your entries on the daily time frame. Okay. So after you finish marking the weekly network glitch. Okay. Then you go down to your daily time frame. So these two zones here are the weekly zones. They are the weekly zones. So once you come to the daily time frame, you now look at another thing again. You focus on the recent zone on the daily. And if you look at the very recent zone on the daily where we broke up from, this here, this point here. But the problem is that we can't call this particular here. For example, after this bearish candle closes, finishes, we needed another candle to close bearish, and that will validate this particular place as a zone for us to be looking for buys. You understand? In case the price comes down into. But now, immediately we have this candle here, the price immediately pushed up and closed above. So it cannot be called a zone, but it is a point where the market can still reverse from, because this is a one candlestick retracement. But in as much as it is a one candlestick retracement, this is called a continuation one candlestick retracement, where you have like an indecision candle where you have wick above and wick below. So it is a continuation pattern, single continuation pattern, single candle retracement. So in this case now, in this case, since it is a continuation pattern, single candle retracement, the price can either come to the top here. Price can come to this top here now and reverse from it, or come below here, or come below this point here, come below this point here and retrace from it. But in a case where we just have like a full body candle, like this bearish one now, that one now is what we call just one candlestick retracement. So in that case, we don't normally look for price to reverse from the up here. That one we definitely know that the price will definitely come down to the low before we can have any form of reversal. retest and then we can start looking for buys in a case where we have a full bullish candle like this. But in a case where it's a daily candle, this is a perfect point to be looking for your buys from the daily time frame. So you see how we've moved from the weekly time frame to the daily time frame. Very, very important. And then the next step is to now go down to the 4 hours time frame. The 4 hours time frame is our decisional time frame. And so we must pay very, very close attention to the 4 hours time frame. Must pay very, very good attention to it because of the time frame that. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Can you guys hear me? All right, all right, all right. Sorry, I had a call. So on the 4 hours time frame, you see that we have our daily zones marked here. And then looking at the 4 hours time frame, this is like a consolidation. This talked about the recent zone and the frequency, had a retracement before we broke out. So this is the recent zone on the 4 hours. So for me, that is the point where I will mark and then look for entries. And you can see that the 4 hours and the 1 hour and the daily time frame, the zones all align to together. This point it doesn't just it won't because from this point here, it may have a minor retracement, but ultimately it will the way gold moves, it normally comes back to the recent zones that it broke out from. These ones here are the frequent zones. This one here, this is the major zone, the one that happened before the break. So if the market should come down, let's say come down like with massive retracement, these are the points. These are all the points down that the market should react from before we get another move up. So that is how you do your top down analysis. You go from the weekly to the daily to the 4 hours, and then the 1 hour is like the last time frame that you would go to when performing your analysis. But for me, the way I trade here, I don't just go down to the 1 hour, except probably when I'm looking for kind of continuation entries on the 4 hours. You need to just try and cut out all the noise, trying to catch every single move. When you're trying to do that, you will end up confusing yourself, trying to go on the 1 hour, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, looking for entries, trying to take entries from 1 hour zones and all that. It is quite confusing and it will just make you lose focus. So you focus on make sure that when you're training, try and be stress free. You understand? Trade on only higher time frames like the 4 hour zones, daily zones. Those are like the key zones where you know that you will definitely have some kind of reactions. And then the 1 hour time frame is just for continuation trades, not for looking for points for the market to reverse from. From my experience and all that, that is what I've come to realize. The 1 hour time frame zones are not just for continuation trades. They are for just zones that you will just go and start taking trades from. There are the zones that, let's say you are in a 4 hour zone. This was the 4 hour zone that the market reacted from here, for example, this point here. And then since gold moves from zone to zone, immediately we finish from this zone, we knew that this point here will be this point here. So me, those are, me for me, those are the kind of entries I take. I don't look to take trades on the 1 hour time frame. I only trade from 4 hours zone to zone. So let's say I go on 15 minutes time frame, and then I get my entries from this particular point here. And once price comes to my 4 hour zone, it's the 15 minutes time frame I go to next to take my trade from. So just imagine that I go on the 15 minutes time frame and I probably see an entry here. I see an entry at this point here. For example, at this point here, and then my stop loss probably below here. Where I'm ultimately targeting is this 4 hour zone here, this point. Yes, this is the point I'm targeting. But now, if I want to add entries, like I want to add entries, that is when I use the 1 hour time frame. And then the 1 hour time frame is to tell you that, okay, this 4 hour zone, this 4 hour trade is actually continuing. Oh. That is the point of using the 1 hour. Is to tell you that, okay, this 4 hour zone now, since my expectation is that we move from zone to zone, and then to move from this 4 hour zone here down to this 4 hour zone. Now, if I want zones, and then that is where I think my network, okay. So I'll mark out this 1 hour zone here. My network is really frustrating. I'll mark out this 1 hour zone here. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
yes, we can hear you.
But your network is
All
breaking.
right, all right.
But network is bad, though. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
why.
yeah. I have a very very terrible network today. I don't know why too. Like my Glow is not even connecting. I'm using my Airtel, like my eSIM, my Airtel, but it's still not. I don't know. It's just bad, like generally.
I think
So
when
since
I
since
upload,
I know that you said.
go on.
All right, all right. So since I have in mind that price moves from zone to zone and I'm moving from this 4 hour zone to this 4 hour zone. So immediately I take my entry on the 15 minutes time frame. If I want to add another entry, it has to be from a 1 hour zone. That is when the 1 hour zone comes from. So some people just go and trade from 1 hour zone blindly because they see a zone on 1 hour, they just take trade on 1 hour. You need to know the trend on the 4 hours before you can now go down to the 1 hour to look for your entries on those zones. So since I already have in mind that I'm trading from this 1 hour zone, from this 4 hour zone to this 4 hour zone. So in between these zones now, that is when my trend comes into play, and that is when my 1 hour zones come into play in case
I didn't recover
I
himself.
want to add an entry.
I don't understand
So in
everybody.
this case,
Don't beat everybody. Tip up. If you don't beat your brother. What about or you don't beat you movie,
this
don't.
was the 1 hour zone here. So let's say when price came into this 1 hour zone here, closes below this zone, that automatically invalidated my trade. I know that that means this trend has the higher chances of reversing back to my entry. So in that case, I just close it out. So but when the price came to this 1 hour zone on the 5 minute, that is when I will now go down to the 5 minutes time frame to look back to this zone here. So if we go down on the 5 minutes time frame, at this particular point there was an entry and 4 hour zone. That is how you combine on. That is when you add to your already existing trade. You understand? And that is how you learn to maximize your trades. Not just if I had just probably entered just here, I would have just been on like 1 to 2.6.5 risks to reward. But immediately I add 1 hour entry here by going down to the 5 minute time frame, I will have a bigger risk to reward targeting this 4 hour zone still. You understand what I'm saying? So the same thing too. After adding an entry here, we can see that the market broke out. Once the market broke out, I'm looking at the next 1 hour zone I'm supposed to be trading from. And the next 1 hour zone I can see is this indecision a single candle retracement I'm seeing here. And when it comes to this kind of indecision candle, the price can either react from this upside or it can react from this down part. So if I'm looking for another entry, this is the point where I should be looking for an entry at this point or at this point. I must see how the price is reacting from those points on my 5 minutes. That is how I can now add another entry. That's you see this kind of candles, they are very, very, very important and they are very, very powerful. You understand? Once you have indecision candle like this, where you have week up, week down, this is a single candle retracement and it's also a continuation kind of entry pattern. But you see, in the case where you have just one bullish candle like this, sorry, just one bearish candle like this in a bullish trend, where you only have 1 week up, but there is no week down, something like this, that is very full like this. In this kind of case, you can see that
Tinubu, ishurera iso.
in this kind of case, I'm expecting the price to come. I'm not marking. So in this kind of candlestick confirmation like this now, I don't look for entry at this top here. It's only the down part. This one is what we call just a single candle retracement, and then you look for just the down part. But in the case where you have an indecision continuation candle like this, the market can either react from the up or it can react from the down part.
Your network is breaking. We can't hear you very
All
clearly.
right. Okay, but can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me well now?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
breaking in between.
It's still breaking, but I mean I
Oh,
can
all
hear
right.
very well.
And then maybe it should be their own network too. Well, the network is just bad everywhere, Joe, generally. So you can see that after getting this entry on this retracement here, we got another entry here. And then when the price came back to this point, I got another entry at this point here, at this 1 hour zone. Because after when it came down to this point, on the 5 hours, I got a very mad bullish candle confirmation. And I took an entry here also. Hour time frame, trade from the 1 hour time frame, just like that.
Sorry, can you come
But
again? We didn't
you
hear that. I didn't
try
hear
more.
that part.
Okay, I said I said some person just trade from the 1 hour zone like completely, like blindly. But the way it works mostly is when you use it in context with a higher time frame, like from the 4 hours. You understand? Like when you have a 4 hour range that you're trying to trade from, that is when you use the 1 hour time frame for confirmation entries and also for to check. Because me, if I'm trading from this 4 hour zone to this 4 hour zone, I don't just enter my trade and then I now base, trading is not based on luck. You don't just use luck in trading. It has to be with knowledge and understanding. And so if I'm entering from this 4 hour zone here, I don't just enter my trade and then I will just leave it and hope that the price will go to my TP point. That is not how to trade. You trade with calculation and understanding of the market structure. So let's say if I enter a trade right here now at this point, I would the time frame I will be monitoring my trade is on the 1 hour time frame, because when I see a shift in market structure on the 1 hour time frame, I know with 80-90% assurance that that trade will likely not get down to my 4 hour zone. So at that point, instead of hoping on mere hope, I just exit the trade, and most times the market goes back to hit my entry point or my SL. So for example, now what I mean about that is this 1 hour zone that this market actually reacted from here. Assuming this candle now, this particular bearish candle comes down and close below these two 1 hour zones, I like with every assurance in me, I most times the market will just reverse and start coming back down, because it means that the trend on the 1 hour has been violated, and if it has been violated, we don't have any more strength to go back up to this 4 hours time frame. That is why the 1 hour time frame is very, 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 very important. The 1 hour time frame is very important. It shows you when the market is about to change trend, or it shows you when the market is about to continue the bullish or the bearish structure. So it's very, very key that you monitor the 1 hour time frame. And then one thing I also want to say is that you monitor the 1 hour time frame and don't just take trades out of the 1 hour time frame coming down, like coming down at this point. If because this point here is a 1 hour zone, for example, this point here is a 1 hour zone. This point is a 1 hour zone. So let's say this market now was coming down at this point. It came down and closed below, then doesn't have any more momentum to go back up. It will definitely come back to hit my take my FL. So you see that 1 hour time frame is very, very important when you're actually trading from the 4 hours. It helps to tell you when the trend is continuing and when the trend is not continuing. So it's very, very important and crucial. I'll show you more examples what I mean by that. And then one thing I want you guys to take note of, and it's very, very important, and it will really, really help your trading too. You see that if you check, you see that I have two is the Owanda, and then this other one is the forex.com. These are the two most important brokers
We
when it
can't
comes
hear
to
you
trading
again.
gold. Like I can't even stress it. I can't. Okay, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me well?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Is it
okay.
my network? But I
So I
can't
was
hear
saying
anything.
that I think it's your network. I think it should be your network, please.
We
So
will
I
come
was
back
saying
later
that
and watch it when you have a good network. I will still upload the record.
all right. So let me continue then. So I was saying that you can see that on my chart here we have two brokers that I like, two gold charts here. One is from the Owanda, which I know that a lot of you guys use. The second one I use is also forex.com. like for brokers that you can use when my network is really poor. I'm coming. Okay. So on forex.com, you can see at this point here, for example, at this point, there was a level here. You know, most persons use Owanda. If you check on Owanda, this particular point, gold reacted gold reacted from this particular point here. From but you can see that from this point inside here now, inside this place, there was no level. Inside here, there was no level that gold reacted from on this level. So if you were looking to actually buy from a zone here, from on the Owanda chart, there was no level for you to have placed your buy, and you can see how gold moved up. But if you go on forex.com, that's why I use both of them. They go hand in hand. But if you go on forex.com, on that same level where there was no level for you to buy from, on owanda.com, on forex.com, there was a level. There was a level, and this was the level. And this was the level. See what I'm saying? This was the level. But if you were looking at Owanda, you can see that there was no level here. So if you were looking to take a trade, you would have actually probably missed these buys here because you were waiting for price to probably come down to some sort of level here. So you would have actually missed this particular buy here. But on forex.com, there was an entry at this point. You use sorry. Man, my network is really, really creepy. Okay. You can see here that see this level here. If you were looking at Owanda, on Owanda, the price got to this level. So you would have taken your entry probably at this level from here, this level here. This is a frequent zone. So the price reacted from here. But if you look at forex.com, on forex.com, this was the level on Owanda. You can see that the price never came to that level. So so now for someone that trades using just forex.com now, this particular sell here, the person would have missed it because the person would have probably been waiting for price to come down, come up to this forex.com zone here to take the trade from here. So someone that trades using forex.com would have actually missed this sell here, but someone that uses Owanda would have gotten the sell trade at this point here. That is why I use both of them. So I implore you guys to use both. It will help you guys to not miss any form of trade from the zones. And then another example is at this point here. On Owanda, you can see that the market violated this 4-hour zone here. You can see on Owanda, the market violated this 4-hour zone. So, and you guys know that most times once price violates a 4-hour zone, most of you guys want to just be buying because you know that the 4-hour zone has actually broken. So the price will definitely continue bullish because we have violated and closed above the 4-hour zone. But now look at forex.com. On forex.com, it shows you that that zone has not been violated. You see, on forex.com, it shows you that that zone has not been violated. the zone is still holding. So that was, can you guys still hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you guys? All right, all right. So you can see that on forex.com, the zone was not violated. The price came to this zone, and then I looked for my entry, and then I took the sell. But you can see that on Owanda, it showed that the zone was actually violated by this candle closing above. So if you were trading just on Owanda, you wouldn't have had the opportunity or the F1 trip to start looking for sales because the zone has been violated. That means the zone won't hold. So what most people will do is they now go down to 1 hour time frame to start looking for buys because they expect the market to keep on going up. But on forex.com, the price actually obeyed. The same thing happened here. This was on Owanda. Okay, yeah. I think on Owanda the price respected this zone, but on forex.com that zone was violated. You see, on forex.com. That's why it's good you use both charts to know when a zone is actually holding. You see that this zone was violated because the price went up and then closed above. So you should be looking for buys. But now on Owanda, you can see that it is respecting the zone. It is respecting the zone. So it gives you more ability to trade. And then you can see that, for example, at this point here, at this point, if you were looking for to break this below this, sorry, my network. So after the market came down on the 4 hours to break below these lows here, we expect what a retracement back to the neckline and then a drop. But now looking at forex.com, when I was looking at forex.com, I saw that the 4 hours candle closed bullish. It didn't respect this zone. And you know that once a zone has been violated, definitely we are looking for the price to go up to this next zone here. But since on Owanda we violated the zone, I needed to confirm that the zone was actually truly violated. So I went down to uh, forex.com. When I went down to forex.com, that was when I saw that that violation was a lie. It didn't actually violate the zone. It respected it. You see, this was the same zone on Owanda that was violated, but on forex.com, you see how it left these beautiful wicks here. So that was how I was able to even catch this sell from this zone down to this point here. So that's why it's very, very important that you guys combine both forex.com and Owanda when analyzing your gold market, because it will save you guys a lot of trades and help you take more entries that you actually felt that probably maybe the price is closing above and then you feel like you're missing out on the trade. Once you go down to the next broker, you can see that the price is actually respecting it, and then you can now look for your entries. So that's it for that. Very, very important.
Are you done?
Just needed to. That's how it. Yeah. So any question based on what I've discussed so far?
Question though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please ask your questions,
Can
please.
I?
Okay.
There was one thing you showed us at that 4 hours. That
Yeah,
was yesterday's
yeah,
trade. There's another zone up.
yeah.
I don't know if you saw it. Because I actually took that trade, but it took me out before going up because I saw there was a 4 hour zone up, there's a 4 hour zone down. But I didn't touch the one down, but it respected the one up and gave me a neckline on the 15 minutes candlestick.
Wait
I don't know if you
here,
can go
this
there and
point.
show us. That yesterday, yes. The trade you showed us,
Okay, sorry.
yes. And then the other one down, yeah. But I think you took the trade with with the one below. You didn't use the one up.
Oh yeah. You know why? For me though, I don't know, just maybe because of my instinct. But probably you're not actually wrong for taking the trade at this point. It's just my instinct. You know why I didn't feel like this zone would probably hold at first? Because we tapped into this zone. Like immediately we broke out from that same week. Immediately the candle closed above here. The market tapped here immediately. Also came down to this point, and then it respected it.
Okay.
So when the price was coming down again, when it got to this point, since we already had a retest at this point, I wanted something more. And then we had, that we had this very bearish candle here. So I wanted something more. And then we had, this very bearish candle here. So I wanted something more. And then we had this very bearish candle here.
Hello, I can hear you.
So I needed this massive, it just, just like zone enough, because we've had like an immediate retest of this zone before the market went up. So I needed the market to actually come back down to this particular zone before I start looking for my entry. But you actually taking a trade from this zone, it wasn't wrong. You understand? It wasn't wrong. This was just based on my instinct. You understand? And based on probably maybe experience. I didn't just want to just enter immediately from this zone. So that was how I waited for the market to actually come down to this point. And then immediately it came down to this point, and then I saw that bullish candle, and I think SCOB on the 15 minutes time frame. I just took the trade immediately. You understand?
Okay.
But you taking your trade here, you were not wrong at all. You understand? It was just
What
based
do you
on
use
my
for your
instinct.
confirmation? Do you use the neckline break or just the SCOB? Like when you're going to get to a zone, how do you take your entries? Do you wait for a neckline break
Okay,
or
okay. Okay, let me show you for an example now, but I use both of them. I use both the neckline break, and then I use the SCOB. Let me show you in a place where I will use the SCOB. For example, here. Thank you. Let me show you an example now. In a place where I use an SCOB to, and then in a point where I don't use an SCOB. Let's say now, in this case, let's say maybe I was looking to take my trade here. So probably, for example, we have like market up, market down. Sorry, sorry. So let's say we had a push down here, for example, a push up here, and then this, something like this. So I'll be waiting for the market to take out the this neckline here with this candle. Sorry, for the market to take out this neckline here. So you can see that we have a W pattern. Then I was waiting for this neckline now to break, and then I entered the trade. So I entered the trade here, and then But now, a case where, sorry, my network. Okay, can you guys listen? Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but your stream is not
I
showing.
can hear you.
Okay, it's now showing.
The trade from the neckline. So this is a case now. In this case now, we have a neckline break at this point there. We have a neckline at this point here. But this candle took out the low of this candle, but I will wait for the next candle to be bullish once we have
Sorry, I
any
can't see
form
your.
of beautiful
Is it my network? I can't see your screen.
SCOB. Most times we tend to violate the neckline, and then God, my network. Oh God, it's very annoying. Sorry about that, man. The network is really now.
Yeah, it's showing now.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So in a case where I use the SCOB, immediately this neckline has formed, and then we have a beautiful SCOB here at this point. But in this case now, after we have the SCOB, the candle closed bearish. So I'm looking for the next candle to close bullish. So this next candle, assuming this next candle closed bullish, this was where I would have had my trade, and then my stop loss will be below the SCOB. But what did the candle now do? We now have another beautiful SCOB. This candle, the wick of this candle took out the low of this candle, and then it closed bullish, signifying to us that we're
Sorry, but I
actually
think I can't hear
bullish,
you.
like we have momentum on our
I
side.
think I don't
So
know. Is it, am I the only one having this issue?
can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
We can I can hear you, but
We
I
can
don't
hear you. I
know
can hear you.
if I don't know.
I don't know that person here because I don't know if it's my network.
Then that means, bro, I think it's your network, bro. Because I think other persons are hearing me though. So after we had this beautiful SCOB, in this kind of case now, I don't normally wait again for the price to come and take out and then I enter here. That would be a late entry for me. So this is the point where I take the entry neckline break. I only use FU. I only use the neckline break when I don't have any clear FEO.
It's all good.
I get my early
But
entries.
this network is very bad. Though. Don't know. Don't know.
I swear,
This
like it's
one network is
extremely
doing
bad.
this.
It's extremely bad. So I don't know. Maybe any more questions? The network is really really frustrating and bad. Any more question?
Oh, what you explained, I didn't hear you. Maybe it was my network. I don't know.
Ah, that's crazy, man. Anyway, just go back and rewatch the video. I think it should be clear on the video, but the network has
So
just
what
been
you will
messy.
do is
Yeah.
go rewatch the video, then ask your question. Use voice note and ask your question in the group. You will attend to it. Think that should be the best.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think probably if you're rewatching the video, I think that part should be clear on the video though. Maybe your network was just bad. And I get that the network is generally bad though, you understand, but probably on the video it might be clear.
Okay, no problem.
So yeah. So any more question?
Sean, do good evening. Hello, good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry. Any more question? I think this my network is really bad.
Where is that guy that wants
Hello,
to ask
hello, hello.
question? You can go on now,
Hello, sir.
so we can.
Okay,
All
okay.
right, we can hear you.
Please, my question is,
All right, I can hear.
you
Um,
make mention of price has violated a zone. Price has violated a zone. So how do
yeah,
candle come on a zone?
yeah.
Zone?
Sorry, you
I
said
don't know if you
what?
understand my question. I say you always say something that price came to this zone and
Yeah, come
violated
again,
it.
please. I didn't get that.
It came to okay, okay. I said my question is this.
Yeah, yeah,
You said or you made it numerous times that price came to this zone
yeah.
and violated the zone. So how do candlestick reach in a zone and you confirm that the price, the candle or the price has violated this particular zone or it has respected the zone? What are the candlestick that appear
All
there?
right,
Like
okay.
how do you when it close or when a week?
Let me
I
show you.
don't just want to understand.
Yeah, let me show you what I mean by that. An example is today's. If I wanted to actually trade today, I would have actually traded this today, and I would have
That's all.
Come on, Anthony, explain this thing to them. Use voice note and explain this thing to them. We cannot even hear you anymore. You guys,
money, but I
he's
decided
going to
not to
use.
because for the way I've mapped out my trading plan, it's against my trading plan to actually trade when I don't have any 4 hour structure. So it's best I wait for my 4 hour structure before I trade. But yeah, if I want to actually know if this trade now would probably reverse down to the downside, we have a 1 hour zone here. So hello.
I can hear you. I can hear you. I'm with you.
Oh, okay. So I was saying that an example is today's price action on the 1 hour time frame. So if I wanted to know that this price will actually probably change direction now, this is a 1 hour zone. So on the 1 hour zone, you mark the 1 hour zone like this, something like this, something like this. Yes, something like this. This is a 1 hour zone. So the way I will know that this zone will violate or it won't violate is this bearish when this market started coming down to retest this zone. Let's say this bearish candle, assuming this bearish candle closed below this zone at this point. Let's say at this point it didn't leave a week, it closed below this zone like this. This this bearish candle now, as it was coming down, let's say assuming this candle now probably closed below this line I marked without giving us a
Yeah.
week, it closed with a full body. Then that means this zone now has now been violated. And if this 1 hour zone has now been violated, then be rest assured, like with 80-90% accuracy, be rest assured that the price will definitely start reversing. The price will definitely start reversing down to the downside. Start reversing now back to this particular zone. So if assuming, for example, now assuming this particular candle now, as you can see, plus would be something like this, and then your TP can be somewhere here. That's just an example of knowing if a zone has been violated or not. But in as much as the candle came down to the zone and then the candle now went back up again and closed above the zone, it means that we are actually respecting the zone. And then you should now go down on your 5 minutes time frame to start looking for your entries at this point to take the market up. You understand? You understand? You understand?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh gosh. Minister, I think okay, yeah. I think we should just
Network
end
is
the
very
class
bad.
already because this network is already frustrating.
Yeah, yeah. Let me
Yeah, yeah,
end
it's
the
really
class.
bad.
Anybody that wants to ask questions should go to group. Maybe when you have chance, you now
Yeah,
verify
yeah.
them.
Should just drop their yeah,
All right.
yes, yes.
Thank you
Thank
so
you. The
much,
network
bro.
is really, really messy today. No problem, bro.
Okay, now.
No problem.
All right.
All
All
right.
right. Take
Yeah.
care.
Let
Yeah,
me drop
bye.
the next one in the group.
Yeah. Drop the question
Yeah,
in the
yeah. No
group.
problem. Just drop it.
All right. Thank you so much. Please, oh, subscribe, oh. We need your subscription.
Yeah, we are subscribing.
Yes, so
We are, we are
yeah,
All right,
subscribing.
all right. Bye.